the adaptive and resilient future of Pakistan, and we are so honored that we are having some power women with us. So we are having Miss ATEKAH with us. She's from Nestle and she's Corporate Manager, Public Policy and Governance Issues. Thank you so much for taking out time for us. Miss ATEKAH, if you talk about Nestle, so you belong to Nestle. Basically, what is Nestle doing for the food security?
Okay, so Nestle is by and large a food company, and most of our raw materials, they come from agriculture. Within Pakistan, we are primarily a dairy company, so that means that when we mapped our GHG emissions a few years ago, we found out that most of our emissions, they come from the fresh milk value chain, so all the work that we do with our dairy farmers. So that is where most of the interventions that we've introduced in order to counter the impacts of climate change, they are focused, and the same interventions, they will help us reduce GHG emissions within our value chain. So we are helping our dairy farmers shift to a more efficient herd so that they can get the same amount of milk from a smaller herd. That means that they're not putting in a lot of resources, but the amount of the output that they are getting is makes sense for them economically, and is also resulting in fewer GHG emissions. Then attached to that, we are helping our dairy farmers shift to renewable energy, so shifting to solar as well as biogas. And when we talk about biogas, we mean that the manure that the cows produce, they are essentially treated a little and then put in a chamber, which then produces gas, and then the farmers can use that gas to run their dairy farms, run their kitchens, etc.
That's really important for the system.
Exactly, because energy costs are a huge factor for farmers.
I believe we need a lot of awareness regarding this issue. So if we talk about climate change, does climate change affect food security?
Yes. I think food is one of the very first things to get affected as a result of climate change. And we began to see the impacts of smaller shifts due to climate change on our food value chain. So even pre-COVID, we were witnessing a shift in the crop patterns of our raw materials. For example, warmer temperatures will lead to fruit getting ready to be harvested sooner, and the yields would also get impacted. So food companies like Nestle had begun to see the impacts of climate change, maybe even a little earlier than the general public realized those impacts. So what we're doing is we're helping our farmers to become more resilient, and we're introducing practices focused on regenerative agriculture, which will help them deal with the impacts of climate change and make them more resilient in the face of climate change, so that the farmers are able to recover and adapt faster in case there's a natural disaster or any shock to the food value chain.
Because they are the victim of climate change the most, because they are suffering a lot from it. So any message you want to give to the general public, to the farmers, or to the stakeholders for sustainable development, for food security, anything you want to share?
Yeah, I think it's such a huge subject that one company or one stakeholder can't make the difference. So it's the public sector, the government, the international agencies, the farmers, who all have to work together in order to ensure that the overall economy becomes resilient to climate change.
Collective efforts are required. Thank you so much, Ms. ATEKAH, for your time. Thank you.